Now, an issue we're going to have initially is that these weapons are going to be pretty dark at the moment, very difficult to see. So if I just switch on the lights and the scene itself, difficult to see because obviously we've got this bright white thing here. But if we're looking through the character's eyes, you can see we can just barely make out these weapons. I want them to be a little bit brighter. Okay, so it's easy to actually see that they belong to us. So what I'm going to do is actually just add another spotlight that's coming straight down at these weapons. So let's create a spotlight then. So game object, it's going to be a light and a spotlight. It's just right there. So let's click game object and align with view. Now let's copy this, and we're going to attach it to. Okay, so clicking the camera then will bring it into the right place, and then just attach that onto the first person controller. Okay, so there it is, and then we'll call this weapon light. Okay, something like that, so I know what type of light this is. Let me get rid of that one that's already in the scene, so just delete that. So with this weapon light then, I want that to be aiming down towards the character's arms. Move this across. Let's line this up. Let's look at it from a different angle. Obviously it will look nothing like that angle that we've just had. You can start to see it on the ground now, which is good. And I'm going to bring it back a little bit. Okay, and then the spot angle, just open this up quite a bit. Now to see what exactly it is affecting, let's just take this intensity and really bump it up to about 6. Okay, so now we can see exactly what it is hitting. Now we're not going to leave it on 6, it's just so that it's a visual clue as to where we want to position this. Now if we were to go back to our scene view, we can see that we're getting some nice lighting on the weapons there. Okay, great, so I think it's in the right position, so let's put this back down to 1 again. So the range, we're probably going to increase this to about 15, and the angle I think is good. The colour, I probably want to change this to a more kind of orangey tone. Okay, so it's not so bright or intense, maybe something like this. And the intensity, I can see at the moment, not getting very much light off this, I don't think. Just have a look through the game. It's not too bad, could be a bit better. So let's just increase this to about 1.8. Okay, we're seeing those a little bit better. In fact, I might even go a little higher. Might go to about 2.4. Okay, that's much better. Now I can actually see the weapons against this very dark background. Now obviously that light is going to be affecting everything, including the terrain, enemies, etc. We only want it to light the player's arms and his weapons. So if you remember how to do that, we're going to use a culling mask. At the moment it's affecting everything, so I'm just going to switch this off. I'm going to create a new layer, I'm going to add a layer. Instead of targets, this one's going to be player arms. Okay, so back to the weapon light. Just going to choose player arms, and now when I click on player arms itself, we can now choose its layer as player arms, and yes, change all the children as well. Okay, now it's disappeared from that view. See if you can figure out why it's disappeared and see if you can fix that. So pause the video now, see if you can fix that. If not, obviously I'll explain what's doing it. And it's to do with this camera. If you remember, on the camera the culling mask at the moment is mixed, so all we need to do is just enable player arms and this comes back. Okay, great. So we've got our weapon light in place, just lighting up those weapons so that they're easier to see. And I'm going to do a walkthrough in the next video to make sure that everything's working all right. But before I do so, I want a way of actually switching these weapons on and off at this point. Now we are going to control that using an inventory menu a little later in the series, okay, in the next section. But for now, I just want a simple button system where I can switch it on or off. Okay, so I'm going to use the keys at the top of the keyboard, and the way that you type these is alpha 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. If you wanted to use the numeric keypad, you type them that way. Okay, but I'm going to be using the alpha ones. And I'm going to be modifying this weapon script. Okay, so under the update, I think I'll do it at the bottom here. So I'll just press enter a couple of times and leave myself a note. So this is temporary, so temp. So I'm going to say if input with a capital I, get key down, because we only want it to happen once, and it's key code dot alpha 0. Okay, for numeric key 0. That's going to basically switch everything off. So to do that, we're going to say save script dot weapon ID equals 0. I'm going to copy all of this. So Control and C to copy, or through there. I'm going to press enter. Edit and paste. Okay, so this time it's going to be alpha 1, and obviously it's going to be weapon ID number 1. And let's paste it in again, and paste it in again, and paste it in again. Okay, so we've got alpha 0, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha 4 for the weapons 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, that will allow us to then switch between them easily. It's only temporary at the moment, we can change that a little bit later. Now we have to ensure that this assign weapon function is called. So we're just gonna, just for temporary purposes, we're just gonna highlight this and copy it. So edit and copy, and then underneath each of these we can now just paste that in, just so that it actually runs that function. Now that will force it to run this function, but at the moment it's not actually updating the weapon, so we have to copy this particular line and just paste it temporarily into this section so that it changes the current weapon to whatever the save script weapon ID is, and then it will then check which one should be active or deactive. Okay, so let's save this, and in the next video I will do a walkthrough and we'll see what everything looks like in the game so far.